First some random woman, now Aunt Cass. Who's Baymax gonna help next? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Baymax episode 3. And yeah, this series is pretty simple. It's Baymax helps someone each episode, and it's done through various means. From what we can see, we had with the lady him kind of like trying to like force it on her, which is not exactly the best tactic. And then with Aunt Cass, I mean, he kind of tried to do the same with Aunt Cass, but she was more, I guess, receptive to that. Even though she wasn't entirely receptive, and still tried to fight against it. But there are two very different things, too. Because this woman just had a fear of going into the pool because of, past events and stuff. And, losing her husband, who was very big with the pool. And then she, her entire thing, Baymax was helping her, like, kind of get over the mental blocks that were in her head. With Aunt Cass, it was more of a physical thing. She twisted her ankle, which is a very normal thing that happens to people. It's happened to me multiple times. And so Baymax had to try and get her to rest, but she kept trying to come back and help run the cafe because she was afraid she would lose her customers if she didn't, keep them happy at all times. And instead, they left a nice message on Baymax for her, or on the camera that the cat was actually carrying. Not on Baymax, but about Baymax. Basically saying it's like, he's doing fine, he's just slow and everything. You can rest, take all the time you need, all of that jazz. And so while the first one was helping someone get over a mental block, the second one was helping someone, deal with a physical injury and her own fears, which kind of goes into mental as well. But yeah, this series, based on those first couple episodes, seems very simplistic. Like, there's just not a lot to it. And I don't know if there's going to be a lot to it. I don't know if there's going to be more in regards to this. And mind you, it's 6 shorts. It's not even like full episodes, it's shorts. And there's only 6 of them, so it's not like it's going to go on very long. But I'm kind of starting to wonder if I should maybe, like, do the second half of this, episodes 4 through 6, just all together. I was talking about, like, at the beginning, just doing them one at a time, just to, have a little more time and everything. But I think it might be okay to just get them out of the way. Because waiting each week to do this, it's like, I don't really have, it's like, it's not annoying, it's not bad to watch, it's not something I'm dreading getting to. But it's like, I'm also not excited to get to it because it's at least so far, it's kind of proving to be very much a simplistic, samey concept where every episode is just the same basic idea over and over again. And unless it really changes things up, I don't see any, like, excitement coming from it. And again, the problem is there's only 6 episodes, so there's not even really a lot of time to change things up. There's not really time to adjust for all of that. So, I think the best option here would probably be to do that. But I'll talk more about that in the afterthoughts. I'll go over that again there. Because there's a bit to talk about if I do that. So, we'll talk about that in the afterthoughts. In the meantime, though, we do have plenty of other stuff on the channel for you to check out, besides just this. Every day of the week, Monday through Friday specifically, we have 2 series reactions per day. On Mondays, we also do YouTube reactions, which are mostly donation rewards from our various subscribers and viewers. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we do movie reactions. They're recorded earlier in the week, but they're uploaded during the weekend so that every day of the week has content for you all. We are also starting Spider-Man 2 this week. Technically, by the time you're seeing this, we've already started it because it started yesterday. If you're watching this when it first came out, of course. We started yesterday, really enjoying it so far. I played a couple hours, which is like 4 parts recorded already. So, yeah, they're going to come out every Tuesday and Thursday, and we're just going to go with this schedule for the time being. I know that means it might take a while to get through it all, but I'm probably going to play ahead, so it's like I'll just have a bunch of parts, like, kind of set for the future at any given time. Because, I mean, like I said, I have 4 parts already recorded. And it's twice a week. So I have all of next week set too. So, yeah, fun little thing there. But that's just how I'm going to do it. And I'll get to playing it as I play it and everything. But yeah, we have plenty to look forward to with that Let's Play. We're starting a new series on Friday with Knuckles, and a lot of other stuff are going to be changing up and coming soon. So look forward to all of the updates and everything else happening. Yeah. I hope you are enjoying the channel, though, and for now, let's get into the reaction. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction because we do redirect it, just to avoid copyright issues here on YouTube, and just to make sure the channel remains without strikes and without being taken down, because that is, something I don't want to happen. Again, I have had that happen in the past, for anyone who's new and everything. But yeah, so after you go to the description to watch the reaction, come back here to the redirect after and continue, because after fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode, as well as my full thoughts on what we just watched. Or in this case, I guess the short rather than the episode. But all of that being said, thank you as always for tuning in. And for now, yeah, I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So Baymax is a trans ally confirmed. Because at least for the series, I mean, this had some notable representation in it, with a trans man recommending pads to Baymax that he uses. It's like, that's really awesome to see. Because it's like, even with like a lot of these other things that, have shown up in recent animation and stuff, talking about periods and everything, it's always young girls, because of course, I mean, that is, I guess you could say, the main demographic for that. But you have to realize it's like young trans boys, or just, trans men in general, as well as young NBs will go through this as well. This isn't just a girl's issue, and I really, it does kind of bother me when people refer to menstrual talk and period stuff like that as girl problems or girl issues, because it's not entirely factual. It's just not only girls who go through this shit. Like, trans men do go through this as well. And NBs and everything, it's like, you can't just, you shouldn't at least just exclude people like that. Just because of what the norm has been seen as for the human history until now, until more recently. And even then, that's not even accurate because there's always been trans people and non-binary people throughout history. It's just, people are shit about that in the past. Um, but yeah, I really like that this episode touched on that. I mean, yes, the main girl going through it is a girl, and she's the one that Baymax is mostly helping out. And most of the people you see in the store suggesting the pads to Baymax are women. But you do see that representation still, and it's still great. And it makes sure that you understand what's going on there because of the trans shirt, too. It's like, it's a little on the nose, but honestly, I don't care. I don't mind it because the representation is still there. And let's be honest, a lot of us wear shit like that. Um, I mean, you see it in all of my thumbnails, and I've worn it for some videos on the channel. My rainbow tank top. It's literally a thing I have. I have a rainbow hat as well, and it's like, yeah, we absolutely wear. So I actually have a trans shirt too. It's a little small on me, so I don't really wear it much, but I do actually have that. So it's like, yeah, we absolutely wear that shit, especially in June because Pride Month and everything, um, which is very quickly coming up. It feels like the year just started, but also we're only like just over a month away from June, and it's wild to think about. But yeah, so it's just really cool to see that in here. It's again, and it's also really cool to see just this series discussing this kind of thing. And I like how again it's a very different kind of situation from the first two episodes. You have the first one where it's more of a mental block, an emotional fear and everything. The second episode where you kind of have a little bit of that, but it's also the physical injury. And this one, it's very much physical, and there's also a little bit of emotional and mental in there, but it's also a biological thing. It's not something that's like a physical injury. It's a biological issue that people go through, and it's not really an issue. That's the wrong word. You know what I mean though. It's a natural biological function. That's a better word that people go through, and it's nothing to be ashamed about. But yeah, your first time, the first time it happens, it's gonna be scary for sure. It's gonna be hard to deal with, especially if you're like at school or something. Um, and I want to tell you something really interesting here. Um, this is something that some people don't know, but trans women who are on estrogen and whatnot, on, um, uh, oh my God, what is the word? I can't think of the word. Um, I, they're on estrogen. Trans women who are on estrogen can have periods. They face like the period pains and stuff. They obviously don't bleed, but they have all the pains and the cramps and everything, because of the estrogen. It actually does give trans women that. Now, I'm not on HRT. That's what I was thinking of, hormone replacement therapy. I'm not on HRT to any degree. I'm not on estrogen. Um, so I don't experience that, but I know of plenty of trans women who I've met and talked to who have gone through that. And so it's like you when you think of periods, you think of menstrual bleeding. Let's be honest, that's the big thing most people think of with periods, but there is more to it. All the cramps and, pains and stuff, which are talked about in here. And it's like trans women can actually feel that when they're on HRT, when they're on estrogen. Um, they just don't get the bleeding, luckily, because that would be weird for a number of reasons and kind of scary. If you're peeing blood, consult your doctor. Like seriously though, if you are, please consult your doctor. Um, yeah, but but women, trans men, NBs, anyone who's uterine. I like to use the term uterine for that to just like as an all encompassing term. Because it does encompass everyone. It encompasses women, trans men, and NBs who, go through this. Anyone who's uterine who goes through this, it's like, yeah, a lot of times it's going to be scary when it first happens. And you definitely are going to want help and everything. And here we see Baymax is the one to help and comfort her and stuff. With Ghost of Mount McGee, uh, Andrea helps Libby and everything. And it's great to see that kind of stuff in these too. Obviously, in Turning Red, it wasn't that was actually happening. It was more used as a metaphor, but it was still talked about, and pads were still shown in that movie. Great movie, by the way. But I like that this movie touches on, or this series touches on this. Because it's like, Big Hero 6 was always pretty progressive. It wasn't like super blatant with a lot of things, but it was pretty progressive. There's a reason people ship Honey Lemon and Go Go, for example. It's like there's a little something there. But yeah, it's a pretty progressive movie as it is, and so having this spin-off series of shorts touch on some progressive topics like this, it's really sad that a movie or a series touching on periods is progressive. It's really sad that that's seen that way, but it is. But also, the trans inclusion in this as well. Either way, this was good. This was probably my favorite episode just for that alone, if I'm being honest. And I just really liked how it was handled too. Also, the yo-yo tricks were pretty dope. That those were pretty fun too. But yeah, I definitely am thinking I'm probably gonna want to do the next three episodes just all at once, just kind of get it out of the way. And that's what I wanted to talk about here at the end, because I mentioned in the beginning I wanted to talk more about this in the afterthoughts. So as I've made it clear that I'm not going to be bringing back Tangled the series right away. We're taking a little bit more of a break with that because it just wasn't impressing me, and I need time to kind of just like stay away from that for a bit before coming back. Need to get back into the mood to kind of go through that again, and hopefully it gets better. But I talked about how there would be another poll beforehand. Here's the problem. This with doing the next three episodes together, that means we'll have done Baymax for 4 weeks, which means it will not have been a long time at all since the last poll. Mind you, that's not usually a problem. Sometimes we've checked out a poll show and only checked out a couple episodes and didn't end up enjoying it. So that's not like it's a huge issue, but I'm kind of not ready to run a poll right now. I'm not ready to like get to the next poll yet, and the polls we've been doing lately have been also donation reward polls. But there's another reason I think we're gonna wait, and that reason is we, as you know, have started doing Spider-Man 2 on the channel. And that does take up a bit of time to record and everything. I'm thinking Wednesdays could be a good time for that. And I already talked about in the past how when Whack Fu is done, when season 4 of Whack Fu was done, we weren't going to replace it. That was only a temporary slot that we were adding to the schedule in order to have something else there. So what I'm thinking we're going to do, and I'm not guaranteeing this yet because my opinions, my thoughts might change. Plus, I want to hear what you guys think. But my thoughts right now is what we would do is we finish up Baymax next week, and then we just go to Whack Fu on Wednesdays. Nothing else. We do Whack Fu on Wednesdays, and we cut out the second slot. Then when Whack Fu ends, when season 4 of Whack Fu ends, then we hold the next poll. So we'd basically be cutting out the pull series for a few weeks, for basically the rest of Whack Fu season 4. And then once that ends, we'll bring back the pull series after that. And that will then be the only thing on Wednesdays. Because this will free up time, because you got to remember, on top of the Spider-Man stuff, I'm also recording 2 movies during the week. And so it's like there's a lot of stuff that I need to have recorded besides just the weekly shows that you watch. So my thought was just bringing it down to 1 slot on Wednesdays here. I think it would be the smartest decision. And I know it's like, oh, didn't you just like put a second slot, a second series slot on Mondays so you'd have 2 on every day just to make it feel more even? It's like, yes, I did. I did. I fully acknowledge. I put Delicious in Dungeon on Mondays because I wanted to make it so that every day of the week I was doing 2 series reactions. And also, whenever I bring up the banner here, this banner you see here, I always talk about how we have 2 reactions, 2 series reactions every day of the week, Monday through Friday. So it's like that would be changing that now too. But here's another aspect of this that I want to bring up. On top of like just making time to get to the Spider-Man, to get to movie reactions as well, I'm starting to feel like the 2-a-day schedule's a little much, and I need at least 1 day to be less. And I've noticed this especially with Baymax. When we started doing Baymax and I started realizing it was shorts, I'm like, oh, I'm spending half the time that I normally would on one of these series for Wednesday, and it's freeing up a little more time and making things feel more manageable. All the other days of the week are still fine. But having 1 day where it's just less has been almost a little freeing. Because it's like, here's the thing, when I was doing the no schedule format, I would occasionally just have I would have a day here and there, or even sometimes multiple days, where I just didn't record anything. And sometimes that felt very good to just have a day off. But since I started doing the schedule again, I haven't really had that. And then I started adding more shows into it after starting it initially. And so now it's become 2 shows each day, and it's like, it's doable. Don't get me wrong. It still leaves me with free time. But it absolutely is still taking up a lot of time. And it's not leaving me with as much free time as I would like, admittedly. So I think also cutting Wednesdays down to 1 show is just going to be almost a little therapeutic for me, you could say. It's just going to feel like, okay, Wednesdays, I mean, yes, I technically have the weekends for rest days too. But then you also have like 5 days in a row where most of the week you're just going like go, go, go. So it's like having a little bit of extra time on Wednesdays as well, with 1 less show, is going to be helpful. Because think about it. Here, think about this. Let's say between the pre-thoughts and the afterthoughts, let's say there's an average time of 20 minutes. Let's just say 20 minutes. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. For the pre-thoughts and afterthoughts, the redirect of a reaction. So let's say I have 20 minutes there. A show is normally about 20 minutes per episode, except the stuff on Friday, which is longer. But usually it's about 20 minutes per episode. But even if you want to cut it down to about 8 minutes for Baymax, just as an average time, that's still, at that point, 28 minutes, just for the recording. Add in like a minute or so also for switching between, and anytime I look up stuff in between the reaction and the afterthoughts as well. So let's say 29 minutes, or even round up to 30. Round up to an even 30 minutes, just for recording 1 reaction. And that's if I only do 1 episode. And again, we're lowballing it here with counting for Baymax. Because if you're counting for anything else, you have to add like 12 more minutes to that. We're counting 8 minutes for the actual reaction, but add in like 12 more minutes for like a normal series. It's like even further. But again, lowballing it 30 minutes. That's just for recording. Editing the redirect together takes about 15 to 20 minutes on average, depending on how long the actual redirect stuff is. But 15 to 20 minutes to get everything, edited together and then to save it. Because the saving process takes a little bit of time on Movie Maker. So let's lowball it and say 15. 45 minutes to record and edit. Then add in another about 10 minutes for thumbnail making. Because I have to get like the screen cap and everything. I have to figure out what I'm going to use. So that's about 55 minutes. We can even round up again just to make it an even hour. Takes about an hour just for and again, this is lowballing it for Baymax to do everything I need to do for that. But then you also have to count, okay, so we're gonna add an hour, then you have to count uploading it to 100 free, which can take anywhere from like 5 minutes to over an hour, depending on how long it takes to process. We'll kind of put it somewhere, we'll put it about like, let's say 15 minutes, just to be safe. Let's say 15 minutes. Average is usually between 5 and 10, but 15 minutes to be safe. So let's say another 15 minutes for that, and then another 10 minutes just to upload it to YouTube, to put everything in the description and all that. So that's another 25 minutes to just get it up on YouTube as well. So that's an hour and 25 minutes total. And that's one show. And again, lowballing it as one show. And I have to do that with 2 shows per day. Plus, I have to record 2 movies each week, so that 2 of those days will also have a movie reaction. And then I'm also going to be recording probably a couple hours of Spider-Man at a time. So there's that, which is basically another movie reaction time length. It's like, that is a lot to do during a single week, every week. And again, cutting it down by one show is not going to do like a huge amount. But for one day, that means that it's like Wednesdays will just have less. Not a lot less, but less to a point where it's going to feel a little more freeing. A little more, uncluttered. And so, yeah, it's just... it's just going to help to a degree to do something like that. And the reasonable response to this would obviously be to just cut back on stuff. But right now there's just like so much I'm like really interested in watching it all, and it's like I don't want to cut back on stuff like right away. If I'm going to cut back on stuff, I'll do it like more periodically, and this is kind of like maybe a start to that. So I think that's what we're going to do for now. We're going to finish Baymax next week. Sorry for this long ramble that only partially has to do with Baymax, but I kind of had to get this out. So we're going to start with Baymax next week. Or we're going to finish Baymax next week with the final 3 episodes. Then we're going to take that slot off. Once Whack-Fu Season 4 is done, we will run another poll, and Whack-Fu will be replaced with the winner of that poll. That, I think, is going to be the best option. I think that will work out probably the best for what we want to do here. And I don't know exactly what we're going to do with cutting back other stuff, but I'll try to figure it out. But I do think we need to start cutting back at least a little bit. Just to give me a little more free time, you know? A little more availability. Especially because I've been noticing I've been like getting behind on certain things that I like to watch lately because of having less time to get to that stuff. So yeah. Though I have been playing a lot more PS5 lately. So that's also taking up some time. But yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way to make this work. And maybe I'll make an entire video on it. Maybe I'll put up a separate little update video regarding it and figure it out there. We'll see. But in the meantime, yeah, this, like I said, is the schedule we have at the moment. We have 2 shows per day currently, and we're kind of going from there. So, yeah. We'll adjust it as we need to, which does seem like it's going to need to be a thing right now. But we also do have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. They're recorded during the week, like I mentioned, but they are posted on the weekends. We do YouTube reactions on Monday as well. Monday is actually pretty packed usually because of that. And we have started Spider-Man 2 Let's Play. That is every Tuesday and Thursday. So, yeah. We'll figure out how to cut this back a little bit. I think it's about time we need to do that. And I'll let you know, probably in an update video, what's going to happen here. So, in the meantime, thank you all so much, as usual, for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on this episode of Baymax down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.